here's the thing, Peter.
Yeah.
You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line. You know you are.
Well, I suppose they're questions
Peter,
that people want to know.
Peter, you want to know. Take
And-
responsibility for what you want to know. Don't say what other people. This is a conversation that I'm having with you right now.
You're right.
Okay. So I'm just telling you right now. Okay? Just put your manners back in.
We are creating thousands of jobs, you. The leaked audio of Tom Cruise's explosive rant shocked millions. But for those who knew him, it was a long time coming. From attacking Brooke Shields over antidepressants to challenging Matt Lauer about psychiatry, Cruise's intense behavior has cost him dearly. Today, we explore his most controversial moments and why they've led to what could be his final goodbye. Tom Cruise, born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York, had a tough childhood that shaped the resilience he became known for. His family moved frequently, making him attend 15 different schools in 14 years. On top of that, he struggled with dyslexia, a condition that could have held him back, but instead drove him to work even harder to succeed. At one point, Cruise considered becoming a Catholic priest and even joined a Franciscan seminary at the age of 14. But everything changed when he performed in a school production of Guys and Dolls. Acting lit a fire in him, and he realized his true passion. A knee injury that ended his wrestling ambitions pushed him even further into drama. This unexpected turn made him commit fully to acting, setting the stage for his future. When he was 18, Cruise decided to take a big risk. He moved to New York City with just $500 in his pocket. He told himself he had 3 years to make it as an actor. If he couldn't succeed, he would quit and find something else to do. During this time, he worked hard at small jobs like cleaning tables, being a busboy, and carrying luggage to survive. He even admitted that some days he ate only rice and ketchup because he couldn't afford anything else. His big break came in 1983 with the movie Risky Business. It was the film that turned Cruise into a star. The movie made over $63 million, and people loved his performance as Joel Goodson. One of the most famous scenes in the film was when Cruise danced in his underwear to old-time rock and roll. That scene wasn't planned to be so big. Cruise improvised and made it unforgettable. The film also set fashion trends. The movie made Cruise famous and even got him his first Golden Globe nomination. Cruise became an even bigger star in 1986 with Top Gun. The movie, which cost $15 million to make, ended up earning more than $356 million worldwide. In the film, Cruise played Pete Maverick Mitchell, a fighter pilot. To make the role feel real, Cruise went through actual flight training. He even flew in F-14 jets during filming, which was so intense that it made him vomit sometimes. Top Gun didn't just dominate the box office, it also inspired a 500% rise in young men joining the Navy to become pilots. On top of that, sales of Ray-Ban aviator sunglasses jumped 40%, all because of the movie. What's surprising is that Cruise didn't want to do Top Gun at first. He turned the role down 3 times. He finally agreed when he found out he could fly in real fighter jets. This decision showed how much Cruise loved excitement and taking risks, traits that would define his career. In the late 1980s, Cruise proved he wasn't just an action star. He showed his serious acting skills in The Color of Money, 1986, where he worked alongside Paul Newman. Directed by Martin Scorsese, the movie let Cruise play a more dramatic role, holding his own next to one of Hollywood's most respected actors. The film was a hit, and Newman won an Oscar for his performance. Tom Cruise's journey into acting greatness began with 2 powerful movies in the late 1980s. First, in 1988, he starred in Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman. The movie became a huge success, winning 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. Cruise played Charlie Babbitt, a selfish man who finds out he has a brother, Raymond, who is autistic. Everyone praised Hoffman's performance, but Cruise's role was just as important. He showed how Charlie changed emotionally, going from cold and greedy to caring and protective. To prepare, Cruise spent months learning about autism by meeting families and practicing pool tricks for his scenes. The hard work paid off, as the movie earned $354.8 million, making it the biggest hit of the year. For Cruise, it was proof he could succeed in serious, dramatic roles. The very next year, Cruise took on an even tougher role in Bourne on the 4th of July, 1989. He played Ron Kovich, a Vietnam War veteran who becomes paralyzed and then fights for peace. Cruise spent a year preparing for the role, working closely with Kovich to understand his life and struggles. He even lived in a wheelchair for months, which caused nerve damage in his arms. His dedication was incredible, and it earned him his first Oscar nomination. Many veterans who saw the movie thought Cruise was actually paralyzed because his performance was so real. The movie was also a success, earning $161 million and 2 Golden Globes, including one for Cruise. These 2 movies showed the world how talented he was and set him up for even bigger things in the 1990s. In the early 1990s, Cruise became one of Hollywood's biggest stars with movies like A Few Good Men, 1992, and Jerry Maguire, 1996. In A Few Good Men, he played a military lawyer, Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee, in a courtroom drama that made $243.2 million. At first, Cruise didn't want the role because he felt it was too challenging, but the director and writer convinced him. He worked hard, studying real court cases and spending time with military lawyers. The famous "You Can't Handle the Truth" scene with Jack Nicholson was rehearsed for weeks and filmed perfectly in one take. The movie earned 4 Oscar nominations and proved Cruise could handle dramatic roles. Then came Jerry Maguire in 1996, where Cruise played a struggling sports agent trying to find purpose in his life. The movie made $273.6 million, and Cruise earned his 2nd Oscar nomination. He prepared for the role by shadowing real sports agents, attending NFL games, and learning how to negotiate contracts. The "Show Me the Money" scene became a cultural phenomenon, with Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. improvising to make it unforgettable. This movie, along with Mission: Impossible, 1996, showed Cruise could excel in both dramatic and blockbuster roles, making him unstoppable at the box office. On the personal side, Cruise's marriage to Nicole Kidman was a big part of his life in the 1990s. They met on the set of Days of Thunder in 1989 and married on Christmas Eve in 1990. They adopted 2 children, Isabella in 1992 and Connor in 1995, as they struggled with fertility issues. Kidman later revealed she had an ectopic pregnancy early in their marriage and a miscarriage near the end. The couple starred in 3 movies together: Days of Thunder, Far and Away, 1992, and Eyes Wide Shut, 1999. Filming Eyes Wide Shut was tough. The shoot lasted over 400 days, keeping them in England and away from their kids. By the end of the 1990s, Cruise was at the top of his game. His movies were not only popular but also respected, making him one of the most successful actors in Hollywood. Tom Cruise became a true action star with Mission: Impossible, which came out on May 22, 1996. The movie was based on a 1966 TV series and was a huge risk for Cruise. He didn't just act in it, he also produced it through his new company, Cruise/Wagner Productions. Making the movie wasn't easy. Cruise, known for being very focused on details, wanted to do all his own stunts. One of the most famous scenes, where he hangs by a wire in a high-security vault, took 15 days to film. He had to stay perfectly balanced just inches above the floor, while sweat was poured on him to make it look even more intense. The movie cost $80 million to make, which was a lot of money at the time, but the risk paid off. It made $45.4 million in its first weekend, breaking records for Memorial Day openings. By the end, the movie earned $457.7 million worldwide and became one of the biggest hits of 1996. This movie didn't just make Cruise a top action star. It started one of the most successful movie franchises ever. Over the years, the Mission Impossible series has made more than $3.5 billion. Each movie became known for its incredible stunts, and Cruise kept doing them himself. In Ghost Protocol, 2011, he climbed the tallest building in the world. In Rogue Nation, 2015, he hung onto a plane as it took off. These stunts made the movies even more exciting and unforgettable. Producing the Mission Impossible movies also changed Cruise's career. In 1992, Cruise and Paula Wagner started Cruise-Wagner Productions. This let Cruise take control of his projects in a way few actors could at the time. For Mission Impossible, Cruise made a deal with Paramount Pictures that gave him 22% of the movie's earnings, a groundbreaking arrangement. He didn't stop there. He was involved in everything, from choosing directors to planning action scenes. For the sequel, Mission Impossible 2, 2000, he picked John Woo as the director. That movie became the highest-grossing film of the year, making $546.4 million. Cruise's production company also made other big hits like The Others, 2001, Vanilla Sky, 2001, and War of the Worlds, 2005. By 2006, his company's movies had earned $2.9 billion. But not everything went smoothly. In 2006, Paramount ended their partnership with Cruise's company, partly because of his controversial behavior, like his comments on psychiatry and Scientology. Even with this setback, Cruise quickly bounced back by making a new deal with MGM to restart United Artists. Cruise also worked with some of the greatest directors. In Eyes Wide Shut, 1999, he teamed up with Stanley Kubrick. The movie was complex and took over 400 days to film, the longest continuous shoot ever. Cruise and his wife at the time, Nicole Kidman, moved to England for 2 years while filming. The movie explored themes like relationships and infidelity, and Cruise's performance was very different from his usual action roles. At first, people didn't know what to think of the movie, but now it's considered a masterpiece. With Steven Spielberg, Cruise made 2 huge hits, Minority Report, 2002, and War of the Worlds, 2005. In Minority Report, Cruise acted in front of blank blue screens, imagining the futuristic world that would be added later with special effects. Spielberg praised Cruise for his dedication, saying he stayed on set even when he wasn't needed, so he could learn more about filmmaking. War of the Worlds earned over $600 million. Spielberg used large practical sets for the alien tripods, and Cruise did many of his own stunts, including running through a massive crowd while debris rained down. Even into the 2000s, Cruise stayed at the top of the box office. Mission Impossible 2 became the highest-grossing movie of 2000, even beating Gladiator. In 2005, despite his controversial Oprah interview, War of the Worlds became another huge success. Cruise also showed his comedic side in Tropic Thunder, 2008, earning a Golden Globe nomination. Although his career hit some bumps, Cruise stayed strong. After Paramount ended their deal, he took on bold roles like a Nazi officer in Valkyrie, 2008. People doubted the movie at first, but it did well and got positive reviews. Cruise kept pushing himself, taking on different roles, and making movies that connected with audiences. Tom Cruise's personal life has always drawn attention, especially his relationships. His divorce from Nicole Kidman in 2001 shocked everyone. They had been married for 11 years and even renewed their vows just 2 months before announcing their separation in February 2001. The timing seemed strange, but what made it even sadder was that Kidman was unknowingly pregnant when the divorce started. Not long after, she had a miscarriage, which made an already painful situation even harder. The divorce moved quickly. Cruise said irreconcilable differences were the reason and asked for joint custody of their adopted children, Isabella and Connor. From the separation to the finalization, it took only 11 months, which made people wonder why things ended so fast. Scientology was rumored to play a big role. Cruise, a devoted Scientologist, reportedly believed Kidman was a suppressive person. This is a Scientology term for someone they think is harmful to personal growth. A former Scientology leader later claimed the church worked to make the children turn away from Kidman because of this. The financial settlement was huge. Kidman received $33 million, which was one of the largest divorce payouts in Hollywood at the time. They also had to figure out how to divide their expensive properties, including homes in Sydney, Los Angeles, and Colorado. Afterward, both of them stayed quiet about what really happened. Kidman later said in 2006 that the divorce came as a complete surprise to her. She explained, "It was a shock to my system, and it took a long time to heal." Despite the pain, her career soared, and she won an Oscar for The Hours in 2003. Cruise, on the other hand, faced more criticism because of his involvement with Scientology and how it seemed to affect his relationships. A few years later, Cruise had another high-profile romance, this time with Katie Holmes. Their relationship started fast in April 2005, just a month after Holmes broke off her engagement with actor Chris Klein. Things moved quickly, and only 7 weeks later, Cruise appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show. He famously jumped on Oprah's couch, shouting about how much he loved Holmes. This moment became legendary and was parodied everywhere. By June 2005, just 2 months into dating, Cruise proposed to Holmes. He asked her to marry him at the Eiffel Tower in Paris, giving her a diamond ring worth $275,000. Their wedding, on November 18, 2006, was extravagant. It cost $3 million and was held in a beautiful castle in Italy. Holmes wore a dress covered in Swarovski crystals, and Cruise wore an Armani tuxedo. The guest list was full of stars like Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Victoria Beckham. A Scientology minister performed the ceremony, showing how much Cruise's faith influenced his life. But Scientology became a problem in their marriage. Stories came out that Holmes was always with a Scientology chaperone and had to follow the church's strict rules. People also noticed that Holmes seemed quieter and more reserved as their marriage went on. This led to speculation about how much control Cruise or the church might have had over her. Even though there were rumors, the couple appeared happy in public. They often walked red carpets together and talked about how much they loved each other. But behind the scenes, things were falling apart. On June 29, 2012, Katie filed for divorce. She had been married to Tom for over 5 years, but no one expected this. Even Tom was shocked. He was filming a movie in Iceland when he found out. The divorce happened quickly. Just 11 days after Katie filed, they reached an agreement. Many people wondered why it happened so fast. Some thought Katie must have made big sacrifices to get the divorce settled. The main issue was custody of Suri. Katie got primary custody, meaning Suri lived with her most of the time. Tom was allowed to visit her, but soon stories came out saying he didn't see her often. Some reports even said he went months without meeting her. Tom Cruise's journey with Scientology began in 1986, when he was introduced to it by his first wife, Mimi Rogers. She was already a Scientologist and introduced him to it. Cruise was struggling with dyslexia back then, and Scientology's StudyTech claimed to help people with learning issues. Cruise believed it worked for him, and he even said it helped him overcome his dyslexia. This made him trust the church even more. By 1990, just 4 years after starting, Cruise had already reached a big milestone in Scientology called Clear, which showed how deeply involved he had become. Even after his marriage to Mimi ended in 1990, Cruise stayed loyal to Scientology. Over time, his dedication grew, and by the early 2000s, he wasn't just a member anymore. He became the face of the church. He used his fame to defend Scientology and promote its teachings. But this also led to some very controversial moments. In 2005, during an interview on The Oprah Winfrey Show, he jumped on the couch while talking about how much he loved Katie Holmes. People thought it was bizarre and linked his behavior to his intense beliefs in Scientology. Later that year, during a Today Show interview with Matt Lauer, Cruise got into a heated argument about psychiatry. He called it a pseudoscience and criticized antidepressants, even saying actress Brooke Shields was wrong for using them. This made many people uncomfortable and reinforced the connection between Cruise and Scientology's more extreme views. Cruise wasn't just promoting Scientology on TV. He also tried to get other celebrities like Will Smith and David Beckham to join the church, though not all of them did. In 2003, he even opened a Scientology mission in his hometown, Syracuse, New York. It was clear how much he wanted to spread the church's influence. But in 2008, Cruise's connection to Scientology caused a massive controversy. A private video of him talking about Scientology was leaked online. In the video, he was extremely passionate, saying Scientology could fix major problems like drug addiction and even crime. He also made aggressive comments about psychiatry, saying, "Crush these guys! No mercy!" The video shocked people and made Cruise seem intense and unsettling. It came out just days before a book critical of Cruise's ties to Scientology was released, which made people wonder if the leak was intentional. The church tried to stop the video from spreading, but it was too late. It had already gone viral and damaged Cruise's reputation even more. Scientology also affected Cruise's personal relationships. His marriage to Nicole Kidman ended in 2001, partly because she wasn't fully committed to Scientology. Some former Scientologists claimed the church even tried to turn their kids against Kidman. His marriage to Katie Holmes, which started in 2005, also didn't last. Holmes was reportedly worried about how Scientology might affect their daughter, Suri. When they divorced in 2012, there were rumors that the settlement included rules to limit Suri's exposure to Scientology. On May 23, 2005, Tom Cruise appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show. What happened during that show became one of the most talked-about moments in television history. Cruise was 42 years old at the time, and he had come on the show to promote his new movie, War of the Worlds. But the focus quickly shifted to his relationship with actress Katie Holmes, who was 26 then. As Cruise spoke about how much he loved Holmes, his behavior became unusual and unexpected. Suddenly, he jumped onto Oprah's yellow couch, pumped his fists in the air, and shouted, "I'm in love!" The audience, about 276 people, reacted with a mix of cheers and laughter. Oprah herself was shocked. She said, "The boy is gone," as Cruise continued to show his excitement. At one point, he got down on one knee as if he were proposing, and Oprah kept saying, "You're gone, you're gone." This behavior surprised many people because Cruise was known for always being calm and in control of his public image. The moment was genuine but also a little unsettling for viewers. Soon, the phrase "jumping the couch" became famous. Within a week, 1,743 articles were written about the incident, and it was watched over 14 million times on YouTube. The impact on Cruise's career was serious. People liked him less after the incident. His Q score, which measures how much people like a celebrity, dropped from 48 to 31. Paramount Pictures, the studio that worked with Cruise for 14 years, ended their partnership with his production company in August 2006. This decision was partly because of the couch-jumping moment, and it may have cost Cruise millions of dollars. Not long after this, Cruise caused more controversy in June 2005. He criticized Brooke Shields, an actress, for using antidepressants to treat postpartum depression after having her daughter in 2003. Cruise said in an Access Hollywood interview that antidepressants were unnecessary. He believed there was no science behind psychiatry and said women should rely on vitamins and exercise instead of medication. Shields had just released her memoir, Down Came the Rain, about her struggle with postpartum depression. She responded to Cruise's comments in a powerful op-ed for the New York Times on July 1st, 2005. Shields wrote, "I'm going to take a wild guess and say that Mr. Cruise has never suffered from postpartum depression." Her piece got 1.2 million views in just one day. The debate grew more intense when Cruise appeared on The Today Show on June 28, 2005. He argued with host Matt Lauer, calling psychiatry a pseudoscience and accusing Lauer of being glib for supporting the use of psychiatric medication. The argument lasted 9 minutes and was watched by 5.5 million people. It started a national conversation about mental health and how it should be treated. More than a year later, on August 31st, 2006, Cruise went to Brooke Shields' home to apologize for his comments. Shields said their meeting lasted over an hour, and Cruise told her he regretted what he said. To show he was sorry, he sent Shields a Christmas cake every year for 5 years. On June 28, 2005, Tom Cruise went on The Today Show to talk about his movie, War of the Worlds. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of discussing the movie, he ended up in a heated argument with Matt Lauer about psychiatry and medication. It all started when Lauer mentioned Cruise's criticism of Brooke Shields for using antidepressants. Cruise's expression changed, and he leaned forward, clearly upset. He said, "I've never agreed with psychiatry, ever." From there, things got intense. Cruise kept interrupting Lauer 11 times in just a few minutes. He called Lauer glib and said, "You don't know the history of psychiatry." "I do." At one point, Cruise leaned so close to Lauer's face that it looked like a confrontation. He challenged Lauer to explain how Ritalin works, saying, "You're glib. You don't even know what Ritalin is." People in the studio were stunned, and even Lauer seemed caught off guard. 3 years later, on December 15th, 2008, Cruise returned to The Today Show. This time he was calm and apologized. He said, "I came across as arrogant. I absolutely could have handled that better." It was a different side of Cruise, one willing to admit his mistakes. Years after that, Cruise found himself in another controversy. On December 15th, 2020, a recording of him yelling at crew members leaked online. It happened on the set of Mission Impossible 7, when Cruise saw two crew members standing too close to each other, breaking COVID-19 safety rules. In the audio, Cruise was furious. He yelled and swore 37 times, with the F word coming up 21 times. Some of the things he shouted included, "We are the gold standard. They're making movies in Hollywood right now because of us." And, "We are creating thousands of jobs, you m-." The clip spread like wildfire, getting over 10 million views in 2 days. People were split on how they felt. A poll showed 58% agreed with Cruise and thought he was standing up for safety. But 42% thought he went too far. After the rant, 5 crew members quit. But Cruise's strict rules seemed to work. Out of 500 people on the cast and crew, only 12 tested positive for COVID-19 during filming. In May 2021, Cruise talked about the rant in an interview. He said, "I said what I said." There was a lot at stake at that point. He explained that his anger wasn't aimed at everyone, just a few people, and that filming never had to shut down again. Tom Cruise is known for his complicated relationships with co-stars and crew. Many speak highly of his generosity and support. On Jerry Maguire, 1996, he spent hours helping young co-star Jonathan Lipnicki feel at ease, even playing games with him between takes. But not all his on-set relationships have been easy. While filming Interview with the Vampire, 1994, tension grew between Cruise and Brad Pitt. Pitt later said the experience made him miserable, calling the dark atmosphere depressing, with no end in sight. Cruise's on-set stories have become legendary. On The Last Samurai, 2003, he insisted on using real swords, narrowly avoiding injury when a co-star swung too fast. For Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, 2015, he trained for months to hold his breath underwater for over 6 minutes. During Top Gun: Maverick, 2022, Cruise demanded all actors playing pilots complete intense training, including real fighter jet flights. When one actor hesitated due to motion sickness, Cruise reportedly said, "If you don't do it, you're fired." Cruise's intensity even sparked funny moments. On Edge of Tomorrow, 2014, Emily Blunt recalled Cruise asking her to slap him harder during a scene. She did, and the force surprised them both, leading to laughter. These stories show his passion, risk-taking, and drive for perfection, which have become defining traits of his career.